Hey, what's up? It's Chris Martin. If you're looking to have a successful real estate career, but you don't want to work nights and weekends, I'm about to show you how to do it. You ready? Let's go. All right, so you're someone out there, maybe you already have your license and you're out there struggling working nights and weekends and you're spending all this time running around and you don't want to do that anymore. You want to have those times free. I know for me, looking back, when I first started my real estate career, I did work nights and weekends. I worked as much as I could. If there was a deal to be had, I was out there doing it. I was trying to find business. I was helping my clients find homes. I was helping my clients sell homes. I was doing as much as I could. Now, fast forward, having some kids and wanting to spend time with them and being at practices and coaching and just being a part of the family time, I thought was important to me. So I didn't want to work nights and weekends anymore, but I still wanted to have a successful real estate career. So how did I do it? We're going to talk about two things today, two main things that can help separate you from having to work nights and weekends. So here it is. The first thing, and this is all about leveraging, right? In business, you're going to see that across the board in all businesses. We have to apply those same concepts into real estate. If you look at any business, the dentist, it's not the dentist that's going to be doing the teeth cleaning, right? They're going to have a hygienist do that. At the doctor's office, a doctor's not doing the blood pressure and the temperature checks. It's the nurse, right? And the nurse's assistant and all that stuff. So we can apply those same concepts into real estate. One of the first things I did in real estate was I did as much business as I could. Like I said at the beginning, I did everything from the paperwork to the showings to the listings to everything. And I found out really quickly what I didn't like to do. So you can do the same. And this is speaking from my perspective. So what worked for me and what I didn't like to do doesn't mean it's what you guys don't like to do. So I'm going to be speaking from my perspective. So don't leave me a comment saying, oh, that's not the only road. Of course, that's not the only road. There's many roads in real estate. This is my journey and my road. And one of the first things I did was I found out what I didn't like to do. One of the things I hated doing was I hated going around showing buyers property. It's something that I felt, I don't want to say I hated doing it, but I felt my time was best used in other areas of the transaction, like negotiating and marketing and things like that. So I was pretty much a listing-based agent. That's my personality. I liked handling the listing and the selling side. So I didn't really enjoy as much doing the buyers and showing them around to properties and opening doors and stuff like that. You may be a great buyer's agent. That may be your calling. It wasn't mine. So what did I do? One of the first hires that I made after my admin was a buyer's agent. I brought a buyer's agent on to take on the responsibility of taking a buyer that I handed off to them and knowing that they were capable of not only showing them homes, but carrying that through the transaction step by step until it got to the closing. And of course, I would oversee that whole process, but having someone there to really just take that person and show them as many properties as possible. So a buying agent or a buyer agent, buyer specialist, however way you want to label that, can be a huge tool for you as an agent. You can partner with someone and have those discussions with someone who's willing to take on these leads that you know they specialize in helping buyers and giving them these people. They don't have to officially be a part of a team. You don't have to form a team. You can, but they could just be someone that you refer business to. And to the outside, they could be a team member or someone that you work closely with, but you don't have to officially be a team structure. So how I structured it was I did have a team structure and it was a 50-50 split. So anything that I gave them, they would take the transaction and it would be a 50-50 split once they closed it. But they would handle everything from the paperwork to the showings to the writing of the offers to the negotiating the offers, doing the home inspection, all that stuff they would do. And then in return, any business that they brought to the table from their own self-generated business would also be a 50-50 split. So that's how the team structure worked with me. Another thing that I did was something called a showing assistant. So a showing assistant is not quite a buyer agent. They're just helping with the showings. So this is someone that you can take on. Maybe they're an agent in the office who's maybe a newer agent or maybe they're an agent that likes to do showings. You could give them a small percentage of the deal for doing the showing. So you could have an arrangement with them to say, hey, look, I have a buyer. I'm not able to show them properties. I wanted to see if you'd be able to show them properties, and I'd pay you a percentage of the deal. So you can do that and basically not have to come out of pocket up front. They would get compensated once the deal closes, and that is negotiable. So usually you're seeing it's somewhere around 20% for that, 25% depending on the legwork they're putting in and the price points in the area. So it's nice to know that that whole process can be leveraged off to someone where you don't have to show property, you don't have to do that stuff. Someone else would do it, and then once they identify a property, you jump right back in, negotiate the offer, write up the offer, and part of that for me was them also attending the inspection. You could also do a flat fee. So a flat fee is also an opportunity to where you might be able to save some money if you don't want to give up the whole 20%, 25% to a showing assistant. Maybe you do a fee where you're giving them $25 a showing, or however you want to pay them. That would be an upfront cost, but usually it equates to a lot less than giving up a percentage of the deal. So that's something that you could think of. So if you're an agent out there, maybe you don't want to give up your nights and weekends. You want those with the family. You want to have that time that you don't want to give up, but you have a client that's looking to buy. Find out how you can leverage that off. Do you have to refer that off to someone and still be a part of the transaction and have someone else handle it? Or do you just need the showings offset to have someone cover the showings and have a showing assistant? So you have those both of those options there for you. So we talked about leveraging and doing that with a buyer agent and doing it with a showing assistant. Another thing you can do is totally referring a piece of business to an agent. Unlike a buyer agent that you consistently work with, a referral is really just totally referring someone to another agent and getting a piece of that. So if it's a buyer, referring someone and getting 25% of it once it does close and not having to have anything to do with the transaction, or 30, 40%, whatever it is, you can negotiate that with the agent you're referring it to. So if you're a licensed agent out there and you feel you don't want to plug in a whole lot of time into real estate, but you're constantly coming across people that are talking about buying or selling real estate, you could still benefit from having those conversations with someone and saying, hey, look, I would love to plug you in with the right person that can handle you and be able to help you do A, B, and C in real estate. Do you mind if I made that connection? And just by you making that connection, you can earn yourself a few bucks by doing it and actually have a pretty good side hustle without having to plug in any of the time, nights, weekends, or during the days. So one of the other things that I gave up pretty early on was having to do the administrative work, having to do the paperwork stuff. I really just wanted to get the deals. I wanted to get the deals and worry about getting more deals. I didn't want to have to worry about filling out the paperwork and uploading it in the systems and all that. So you can have a couple different options there. You can hire an admin, which is what I did, and pay that person by the hour. I had someone that was doing it pretty much mom hours, 9 to 2, and they were able to do Monday through Thursday, 9 to 2, and pretty much do all of my admin stuff and do a little bit of stuff in the field as well. And that worked for me for a long time. You can also hire a TC, which stands for Transaction Coordinator. Transaction coordinators are popping up left and right now, and they're offering the service of being able to complete all of your paperwork during a real estate transaction as long as they can do it behind the computer screen. So anything that could be done behind the computer screen, they'll pretty much do for you, making sure your file's complete, making sure that they're making contacts with all the professionals involved, tracking down the documents that are needed so they can bring them into the loop and relieve yourself of that time. So you can pay a transaction coordinator a one-time fee per transaction. So it's nice because a lot of them will take the fee when the transaction closes, so you don't have to worry about paying for it up front. So it's not really an expense out of the gate. So those you're seeing anywhere between $300 and $600 depending on the transaction coordinator and what they provide. So one thing that I have seen some agents do is apply that extra fee to some of the sellers. So they'll charge their commission, 5% commission or whatever they're charging, and charge a transactional fee on top of that that will cover the TC that they're using. So we talked about a lot of things in leveraging. We talked about a buyer agent. We talked about a showing agent or a showing assistant and a transaction coordinator or an administrative assistant. And all those things collectively should be able to free up time, a lot of time, and still allow you to make a good amount of money in real estate. I was making well beyond six figures by utilizing and leveraging some of these things that I'm talking about here. But I did develop a really strong business before I started to do that. So out of the gate, if you're looking to do this stuff, you really want to make sure that you're plugging in the time as a whole into real estate, because if you're only plugging in a couple hours a week into real estate, it's not like you're going to be a successful agent, unless you're extremely lucky and someone's handing you a bunch of stuff. Maybe your mom and dad are in real estate already, but if you were grinding in real estate like I was and building your business from the ground up, you really have to plug in as many hours as possible. So even though I eliminated working nights and weekends, I worked consistently Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. Like those, I worked during those hours, and I worked hard during those hours, prospecting and making a ton of calls and door knocking and doing all these different things to produce leads and to prospect. So I think that has to be known, where, yes, I didn't work nights and weekends, but I put a shit ton of time into my real estate business. So you can't ignore that part of it. And everyone's goals are different. I did want to, produce, I didn't want to make a living in real estate, so this was my primary source of income. So I did that. I dove in head first. If it's not your primary source of income and you're doing this part-time, then sure, your goals may be different from mine. And if you're looking to do a handful of transactions throughout the year, and it's vacation money, it's investment money, it's play money, then you're not going to be worried too much about keeping that 9 to 5 consistent throughout the week, and maybe you're just doing it here and there and leveraging off where you can. So regardless of your situation, I hopefully this video helped with giving you some ideas, some tools and tactics on how to leverage and be able to enjoy your nights and weekends and be able to enjoy that time with the family. So if you're watching this for the first time, definitely shoot me a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. I drop videos like this pretty often, so I'd like for you to check them out, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Like we always do with this time.